Welcome to the inaugural edition of Fisher Foodie Files. We're at El Meson, and I'm Mark Fisher. I've written about restaurants and covered the local dining scene for the last 10 years. We chose El Meson for 3 good reasons. Number 1, they serve great food. Number 2, they've got a great backstory. And number 3, they're celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. How did El Meson come about?
So I was very young. Let's start with that.
Weren't we all at one time? Yes, right.
But celebrating our 40th year anniversary does go back to date. And the date was 1978. I had finished high school and started college. I have a passion, which is Arabian horses. So I started training horses and thought that that was my whole ideal and goal. And what we end up doing sometimes shifts from there. So my father, always being the entrepreneur, he was with NCR at that time, National Cash Registered, world headquartered here in Dayton, had always had this itching about wanting to have his own restaurant. Well, of course, our neighbor was a realtor, and he told my father about this little failing pizza business in West Carrollton. We didn't know much about pizza. All of our meals were every day, 5 o'clock, Mom had a full meal. So my father bought this business and he said, "What are you doing for 6 months?" I looked around, I said, "Nothing." So that was 39 years and 6 months ago that I discovered the opportunity to be in the business, obviously, and I think it's like anything. It's part of your DNA. It just has to fit or not. And so my mother and I...
The name of the business at that time was?
Pizza Queen.
Pizza Queen.
Because that's what it was.
Well, the transition between Pizza Queen and El Meson, how did that occur and over what period of time?
Absolutely. So again, my father, being always that edge and thinking, says we have to do more than sell pizza. Because if you sell pizza, down the street they sell pizza, across the street they sell pizza, you're not anything unique. So we need to bring in some of our culture, some of our Latin dishes.
Okay. So you went from Pizza Queen to Pizza Queen International.
So it was actually PQ International.
PQ International. We
needed to keep the identity of the PQ, but the International said, what does that mean? Where is that coming from? We didn't want to say LPQ or, PQ Mexican cuisine, because again, that was not true to the Hispanic roots of Central America, South America, the Caribbean. We wanted to include that, Spain. We wanted all that to be thought under that realm.
And there was a period of time when you had pizzas during the week, your more traditional pizza restaurant menu during the week, and then on weekends things got a little bit spicier.
Out of control.
You tell me. Right,
yes,
right.
Out of control. We became that, as Ann Heller did on that very time-changing, goal-changing article, which was the restaurant that was a Clark Kent by day, and then Superman came out at night. And in that theory of gameplay, that's where we were. We were still delivering to the General Motors and Frigidaire subs and sandwiches and pizzas and so on. But then it came to be Friday night. We brought out all the great stuff, plantains and yuca and rice. We had musicians. We had then the Hispanic community, which very much is tied with the Air Force Base, a lot of Puerto Rican influence, the same thing at UD, and so on. Families that were here because of NCR, that were again South American, love the idea that, oh my gosh, there's a place that's really speaking our language, speaking our food, our music, and that's the way that was the next step with PQ International. 40 years, we've had some other changes that we've had to adapt to. Food trucks, for example.
Enjoy.
So we knew that that type of millennial needed us to go out to them, because if not, we were going to lose that opportunity. These people were not the ones that were making the reservations 3 weeks in advance at 7 o'clock for a party of 4 because they were bringing their neighbors. They were planning this off the cuff. They were saying, hey, we're downtown here. There's a food truck. Come on down. Have my friends. 20 people show up. There's a party. That's a reservation. So my father, again, created a food truck every year as they were in their winter home in Florida. My father's dangerous with time because he gets continuously creative. But Herman decided that we needed food trucks. So for the consecutive 6 years, we now have 6 food trucks.
Churros?
Not one.
Not one.
Two, not
no.
five. Not five.
But the millennials now have followed that.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is present today.
And I've been to those food truck rallies, and your food truck always has a nice, robust line standing in.
It does. And now it's, again, going back and forth because now the food truck talks to people to saying, hey, I love El Meson food, so I know that I'm going to like this food truck. So you don't have to be descriptive or like people that go to the food truck that maybe have never even heard of us. 40 years into the business, we still have people like, where are you?
Part of your restaurant here used to be a barber shop, another used to be a bar. You have seating for how many people now?
So we have 5 different seating areas. In total, we can seat up to 450 guests. If you were from this area, you remember a little house there where there was a barber shop, Glenn's Barber Shop. And then past that was the local bar. So it was here. And so again, my father says, we need to expand. And we decided that the connecting between the 3 businesses would be a gift shop, would look like a type of market, a street market, with a road, with something you'd be able to stroll through. And what, again, a brilliant idea. The kitchen became hubbed in the barber shop. And then we moved in the bar, as we're sitting in here, into what that bar was. Now, funny story, the 2 windows behind us, he found being thrown away.
Oh, come on.
At a church.
Gotta make this stuff up.
At church, I swear. At church, okay? Wow. He wanted these in here because he wanted light. He wanted this to look like a fishbowl, that if you sat on the patio, you could look inside and see what was going on there. He made it work. Our most popular room in the whole restaurant is right there. Uh-oh, Chef Mark is over here. Let's see what he has.
Oh, let's do.
Well, I'm just getting ready to start this. This is going to be going in the oven, or on the stove here in just a few minutes. But this is a whole octopus.
And as you lifted that up, you could hear some of the little
Exactly. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut the head off of it, and then I dip it down into my seasoned broth, and you let it in there only for about 5 seconds. Take it out.
5 seconds?
Only 5 seconds. And then you let it come back to a boil again. Dip it in there another 5 seconds. Take it back out. What you're trying to do is get it at the same temperature as the water. And then the last time you put it back in, it takes 20 minutes, and it's just perfect, and it's nice and tender.
Thanks, Mark. Who does a full octopus like that? And again, we represent.
Your question was rhetorical, but let me answer it. No one I know of in this town has ever done that. Carry on.
But this is why we keep the idea fresh. We're leaving here in 2 weeks with 30 customers on our annual wine and culinary excursion. We're going this year to Austria, Germany, and Switzerland.
People, equate you with being simply a Hispanic restaurant, but you've covered that and more.
Absolutely. This is our 18th year, and we started
18th year of doing
the trips. Correct, and every year we go somewhere different. And you're absolutely correct too, Mark, that we started with the base of our connection, which was South America. People wanted to learn about South America, but they were very hesitant because of the language, cultures, and so on. But someone leading the trip, they were in.
The service of alcohol is woven into this place and has been from the beginning. You are extremely famous for your mojitos, your sangria, and your margaritas. Let's talk to me first about the sangria.
So we have a sister restaurant in Madrid, and in Madrid we have the sangria and the solomillo and so on. So the sangria came from that crossover of what was our relationship with the culture. and we would exchange where we would go and work at this restaurant in Madrid, and then they had staff that would come here and be able to participate in that as well. So we started with the sangria, very typical to what is the culture in Spain. I mean, you'll get a Coke because you have to order one, because the first thing you're going to get is going to be a glass of wine, or a glass of sangria, or a glass of whatever is common to the yields. So I think that the sangria, and either doing white or red, or even we even have a one for the summer that's peach, has been part of that, making sure that that recipe comes directly from the roots. Sangria should never be too sweet. A lot of people get that confused. They assume that because it has citrus on it and it has fruit in it, that would be base. But the true sense of sangria is that it should be a fine line of tasting the wine and tasting the citrus. And I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
Mojitos have been a more, relatively more recent passion of people.
Yes.
Tell me how you've created your recipe.
Using the essence of the lime, using the sense of a little bit of sweetness from either simple syrup, or again, but using rum instead of tequila, and then garnishing it with mint. Now, one of ours is very important, is that we put sugarcane sticks in our mojitos, because the sugarcane sticks are used as a natural way to muddle the mint, because a drink should open. Now, as you see, we do ours in the sense of the taps, because we have a huge walk-in downstairs, and we make these up from scratch and then create them up from there. So using either the mojito or the sangria or doing the margaritas, it's all part of how we can still serve a quality product. But mojitos now, you can do dragonberry, strawberry, you can do blackberry, all of those. These are crusted in, of course, with panko, and then the sauerkraut and the pork with a spicy mustard here. So, I mean, these are all in the same tradition as tapas or small plates. They're just incorporating other countries. Because the third item that we're going to be doing for the 440th is a reenactment of our trip that we come back from. Okay. So we're going to be doing a dinner that will feature, it could be anything from a Wiener Schnitzel to, again, the sauerkraut, different types of veal and sausage and so on and so forth, and doing the wines and the stein from those regions.
Because the hills will be alive.
Exactly, a little Sound of Music, yes.